how to create this sushi roll. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take some rice cereal treats and you're going to use a circle cutter to go ahead and cut out a nice little circle for yourself. If you don't have a circle cutter, you can go ahead and hand form it. It just won't be as nice looking. So as you can see, once you have your little circle cut out, you're going to go ahead and cover it in shortening. You don't have to use shortening. You can use royal icing, you can use butter, you can use buttercream. It really doesn't matter. I just use shortening because it's most readily available, and normally people aren't really eating the toppers. You really want to make sure that you get in all the little cracks and crevices, because this will give you a better work surface when you're going to put on your fondant and also your wafer paper. Once you go ahead and get that covered, just go ahead and set it aside. So now we're going to go ahead and create our fish eggs using Icing Image's DECOgel, which is a gelatin product that tastes exactly like gummy bears and feels a little bit like them too. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take 2 parts yellow and 1 part red, and you're going to go ahead and melt them down in the microwave. Then you can use your little syringe. You can buy these from Icing Images as well, and you're just going to go ahead and basically pipe your DECOgel into your pearl mold. Now as you can see, I'm using the small pearl section, and I'm doing this because I think it looks the most realistic when they are smaller, but you can use whatever size you want. And then once you've made sure to fill in all your holes, you're just going to go back in with an offset spatula and wipe off your excess. The great thing about DECOgel is you can remelt it and reuse it over and over and over again, so you can go ahead and save that excess as well. And what I like to do as well when I'm setting my DECOgel up is to just pop it in the fridge for about a half hour just to make sure that everything is fully set before I try to take it out of my mold. So now that we've got our DECOgel fish eggs setting up in the fridge, what we're going to go ahead and do is cover our rice cereal treat in a base coat of fondant. So the first thing you're going to do to make it easy on yourself is to cover the bottom. You're going to go ahead and use that exact same circle cutter that you used before. Just cut out a nice little circle and press it on there. Then you're going to go ahead and flip your rice cereal treat over and cover it from the top like you would a fondant cake. I like to completely encase all of my fondant toppers in fondant because I don't like to see any visible Rice Krispie treats anywhere. This also helps with preservation of your figurine if someone wants to keep it for longer than just your recommended eating time. And if you have any air bubbles or anything, you can go ahead and pop them out with a needle or an X-Acto knife. You want to make sure that your base of your sushi roll is as smooth and as bump-free as possible. Now we're going to go ahead and create the top portion of our sushi roll. So as you can see, I have this nice silicone rice mat. It's something that I sell in my Etsy shop that you can find if you search Cakes by Christy rice mat. So you're just going to go ahead and take your fondant and you're going to roll it inside your mat. You actually don't need that big of a section for this specific sushi roll. So once you're satisfied, you can go ahead and peel it out of your mold, and then you're going to go ahead and take that circle cutter we've been using and cut out a nice little section for yourself. Now what I'm about to do, I just want to enlarge it a little bit, but I don't want to mess up the rice grains, so I'm just enlarging it from the center, pulling just a little bit. And then we're going to take a little bit smaller circle cutter. It'll give you about a 1/2 inch to 1/3 of an inch around in rice. And you're just going to go ahead and place that on top of your sushi roll itself. Make sure that it looks the way you want it before you leave it alone. Again, fondant does dry pretty fast, so you want to work quickly. And if you feel the need to put down any water or Tylose glue to help make that fondant stick, you are more than welcome to do so. So now, just to give the rice a little bit of a color so you can see the dimension of all the little rice grains, I'm going to take a tiny bit of vodka and a little tiny bit of brown dust and mix that together. And I'm just going to paint over the entire top of all of the rice grains. Now that brown color will settle in on all the little cracks and crevices, and it'll give the piece a little bit more dimension. You'll be able to see the rice a little bit more. And then once you're satisfied with that, you're going to go ahead and pat it down a little bit. You don't want a lot of brown on the top of the rice grains. Again, you just want it in all the little cracks and crevices. And you want to make sure that you don't pat too hard because you don't want to get rid of all the little rice imprints that you just put on there. Now the last thing you're going to want to do before setting this aside is to take some more of that melted down DECOgel that you already used, and you're just going to pipe a little bit into that little circle. This is going to help your little fish eggs adhere to where they're supposed to be, and it also makes it so you don't have to create as many of them. So now we're going to go ahead and create our fake seaweed on the outside of our roll, and to do that we're going to go ahead and use the Icing Images green wafer paper. And I'm just cutting a section that is about as tall as my roll, and you can use an X-Acto, you can use scissors, whatever you want, whatever is easier. Now once you have your little strip cut, what we're going to go ahead and do is cover our wafer paper in a mixture of green and black powdered color. For this I'm using the Sugar Art powdered colors, and you're going to go ahead and just brush them into your wafer paper. You want to make sure that the color is really going to stay on there, so you can brush pretty hard, but it does not need to be opaque at this stage. And you don't need to worry if you don't get a small section of it. As you can see, there are a few sections that I didn't completely fill in, or there's a corner that's light green. It's fine, because as soon as you're done brushing your color on there, you're going to go ahead and use your paper potion to really work it in there. So go ahead and spray your paper potion on both sides of your strip, and then you're going to go ahead and use your fingers to really work that color into the paper. If your paper rips, don't worry about it. You can cut a new sheet. It's not that big of a deal. And in most cases, if it's just a small rip, you can still use it. So really work that color into your wafer, and once you feel like it's good enough, you can go ahead and wrap it around your sushi roll. Now for this step, you really want to make sure that while you're wrapping your wafer paper, it is really staying on the table. You want the bottoms of your wafer paper strip and your fondant sushi roll to match up. You do not want to see any white underneath your topper. So now that we have most of our roll done, we're going to go ahead and pop out our DECOgel fish eggs. As you can see, it's pretty easy. They're very sticky, and all you're going to do is just stick them to the center of your sushi roll. You won't need any glue or anything like that to stick DECOgel to DECOgel. It sticks to itself very well. And you're just going to go ahead and put on as many fish eggs as you want. You don't have to overfill it. I like to make it look like it's piling out of your sushi roll. Everyone wants to think when they're getting food that they're getting the best value, so you want to make sure that you're really putting a lot of fish eggs on there. And you'll see while I'm putting these fish eggs in that really another benefit of that little circle of DECOgel that you put on top of your figurine earlier is that you can't see in between all your little fish egg balls. When you look down, you just see the red fish eggs. You don't see any little white spots. And that's it, guys. That's how you create your own little realistic fish egg sushi roll. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and make sure that you check out all of Icing Images' amazing products.